Welcome back everyone to another training week, or competition week this time around. 11th to the 17th of April, and it started with a great double front. In the background there you'll see a couple of people. One of them is Mike Ranger and the other one is Joyce, his partner, his wife. And Mike Ranger coached at TriStar for like 2 or 3 generations before I did, so I didn't recognize him at first because he was wearing a face mask. But Mike's been at TriStar before this gym even got built. So there's another gym attached to the one that you see me training in. And I guess that's where he used to coach. Massive amount of history that man has in his brain, in his experience. So anyways, unfortunately he had to see a crap floor day. So on Friday of this week, we had our final Commonwealth Games trial. I managed to do pommel and P-bars. It has not been easy coming back from the 10 days off that I had after getting sick with COVID. So I've just done everything I could. Again, I think I said last week, but I wanted to do pommel horse just to get myself in gear so that I wouldn't do P-bars straight away. And it worked. I actually felt quite good on P-bars. But yeah, I probably could have done high bar. I didn't because I hadn't gone through any sort of a routine leading up to the trial after my time off. But I did do a couple awesome turns on high bar after the trial. So you'll see me do a little bit of extra after I presented my P-bars. I was fixing my giant D-arms and stuff. One of them is really pretty. I think it's the last one that's going to be on the video. And the Commonwealth trial was part of a greater national team camp here in New Zealand. It's called 360 camp. So if you make squad 360, I think you can make the squad from level 4+. And making the squad pretty much, it's like the equivalent of being on the New Zealand national team, which culminates in making the senior squad. So you're on the senior men's national team and you are able to trial and compete at international events like World Cups, World Championships, Commonwealth Games, etc., representing New Zealand. There are some events you can do that are international where you don't have to be on the national squad, like a Valeri Lukin competition or like Australian Nationals. New Zealand and Australia have quite a good relationship, so a lot of the times they'll send some gymnasts to our nationals and vice versa. So the camp started on Friday, and it was good because the rest of the Squad 360 gymnasts got to watch the trial, and that put a little bit of extra pressure on us, and it kind of raised the atmosphere a little bit. It's not the greatest competing in an empty gym, as you can imagine, so it's good to have a couple people in there. Not a couple, there's about 10-15 people, all with top gymnastics abilities here in New Zealand. Yeah, so the camp went from Friday to Monday. It was held over Easter weekend, so unfortunately we didn't get any long weekend, whereas usually here in New Zealand you get Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday off, but all 4 of those days was when the camp was held. There's me trying to fix my knees on my pre-flight, and I do see a change, especially when I just do the timer. I'm able to do it with absolutely locked knees, and it definitely looks way nicer. But it's not nice when you land a double twist on your knees in the pit. it's not very encouraging. Speaking of, I had a good training day today. Today is a Saturday. Today is the Saturday 20 something. I did a whole run through. I did all 6 apps and it didn't go bad. It had its problems, but it didn't go bad. And I'm thinking for CSG this coming Friday, I'm gonna drop an all-round. I'm gonna see if I can challenge myself in all-round. That's kind of what I did before Oceania last year. Oceania is another 3 weeks or so after the CSG comp. And I remember last year I did the CSG all-round. I had quite a few mistakes, but that kind of led to quite a good Oceania championships. So I'm going to test myself next Friday, Saturday. 2 days of all-round in a row though, oh man, that's rough stuff. 2 days, well, 1 day is hard enough, but coming in on that second day, you're sore, and it's not the good pains, it's the bad pains. So I guess I'll have to be safe and see how I feel, and if it's not good, then maybe take some apparatus out on the second day. The giant D-arms, the giant Diamidovs. I'm working on keeping my knees together when I initiate the twist. So I'm initiating the twist by throwing the bar backwards with my right hand, and then immediately following through with turning inwards. I've been watching a few different giant D-arms, especially Daniel Levers. I think by far that guy has one of the best, if not the best of all time, giant Diamidov work. The giant Diamidov and a quarter he did with such ease. So, you know, I think he has the best twist initiation in the giant Diamidov. So I was trying to see what he does. And one of the things he and other guys that do it nicely did was, when they initiate the twist, their knees are already straight. When I initiate the twist, my knees are still bent, and I straighten them kind of in the 3/4 part. So that's why my legs are always kind of going off to the right, because my knees are still bent, and that could be causing me problems. So anyway, I did quite a bit of giant Diamidov work that week, and it paid off. I hit a decent one at the trial and did a very nice one, dare I say, maybe like a 0.1 deduction after the trial on the same day. So myself, Sam, Will, Jordan from Christchurch, Coleman with one arm, Jordan from Christchurch made the trialing squad. Ethan is unable to trial because he's in the States, so but he did do the World Cup in Cottbus. So in Ethan's case, the selection committee is going to take his scores from the Cottbus World Cup, and they're going to take some of his scores from his domestic season in the States, NCAAs and other competitions and whatnot. So best case scenario, we have a 5-man team. It's looking unlikely, and we will find out in the middle-ish of next month who is gonna be sent to this year's Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. So the trajectory is looking like CSG next week, Oceania Championships. We do have TriStar Champs, which is going to be at TriStar obviously, but that's the weekend before we leave for Oceania. So I think Sam and will just maybe do 1 or 2 apparatus there. I'm probably not going to compete that, so it's not a biggie. So after CSG is going to be Oceania Champs, is going to be a big one. After Oceania Champs, there will be Auckland Champs. I don't know if Oceania Champs guys will do it because it might be a quick turnaround. After Auckland Champs, we have the New Zealand Nationals, and I believe Commonwealth Games is sometime after that. This flare work that I've been doing is like my new thing that keeps me kind of excited to come in and train. Routines are definitely not the most exciting thing to come in and train. Routines are part of that daily grind, which you have to do when you want to perform. However, I am trying to put myself in the mindset where I'm looking forward to getting the routine right. So rather than being kind of overwhelmed with how much I have to do, changing that to, you know, really trying to do a set that's gonna please me, that I can look back at and be like, oh yep, that was really good. And to keep learning, you know, to continue learning. Like, I was doing all this giant Diamondov work last week, and then today when I did my run through, I warmed up all 6, then I competed all 6. But I remember when I did the giant Diamondov, although I made it, I was quite spaced out. I didn't remember any of the little bits during the skill that usually I'll think about when I train the skill in isolation. So that's really important to understand, that doing something in a routine under pressure in front of a crowd, when you know it matters, when you're a little bit overwhelmed, it's important to keep those tools that you learned in training in that moment so that you actually can use them. And that's very difficult. It's the brain switches into fight or flight, and you know, it's not conscious of perhaps the more important parts. Almost broke a finger there, but I was okay. Shout out to Daniel Thiola Gidis for that t-shirt. My friend Daniel knows I'm a fan of Dragon Ball, and he gave me that Goku t-shirt, and I'm not embarrassed, I'm not ashamed to wear it. That cartoon accounts for 70% of my gymnastics success. Not that I've had too much, but yeah, motivations were high back in the teenage years, and a lot of it was that scene where Goku turns Super Saiyan. I might have already said this last week, but I can't forget about it. Cameron bought a drone in for the Commonwealth Games trial. So Cameron flew the drone around the high bar while I did my turns. I did a couple really nice turns. Actually, I think I pretty much did a full set in one of them, minus like three things. And I liked it so much that I think I'm gonna get a drone. I think Cameron filmed in 1080, it wasn't 4K. The iPad that I've been using since around New Year's time has been a 4K iPad. So video quality should be pretty good. And although we did have 4K available, we didn't quite know how to turn it on. So the videos from the drone near the end of the this episode will be 1080, so apologies for the lack of quality. It's still all good though, you can see everything. Here we go, Commonwealth Games trials. I included the highlights. There was not too much going on. Nobody really did themselves any favors, let's say, except Will. Will definitely did himself a favor on floor. I think it was the cleanest routine of the entire trial. So well done, Will. If only we got that. We could have been in those, maybe hitting a 14 if that 2.5 punch layout happened. Will's been with me. He came up from Nelson. He's been with me, I don't even know. It's been like 2 years, 3 years. It's hard to tell because of that whole lockdown year. And he's always been bouncy on floor. I remember watching Will come up to camps when I first came back to New Zealand, and there's this like young guy, and he's doing punch double front half, and back then his side tumble was a punch double front, and he'd always land on his ass. And then eventually someone came up to him, I forgot who it was, and he said, why don't you just change your side pass to a front 1.5 for 0.1 less? 13.6 for Will. Great score. I got the scores that I remembered. Like my pommel score, I didn't know what they gave me. I'm assuming it was somewhere in the mid-12 range. This was my first pommel horse routine of 2022. I'm pretty sure I didn't make any in training before this one. And again, I wasn't too fussed about it because I just wanted to use it as a warm-up. Hitting pommel horse wouldn't have helped me whatsoever to make the Commonwealth Games selection, so it was just to do something before PIVA so that I wouldn't be too shaky. So yeah, so Will back in the day was bouncy, but not the smartest routine construction. I think it was like 5th as well. It was like 4th or 5th, and there was a side pass, double front. So he's come a long way. Jordan, the New Zealand pommel horse goat. Yeah, Jordan he's just a machine. He flew up the morning of the trial from Christchurch. So imagine flying up straight to the airport, from the airport straight to the gym. Straight into a trial. It's not easy. Sorry, I'm just getting the brightness down because 10% battery left. Trying to save some battery. So here's my first big blunder as a coach. When we were in Coppus, I think it was Tony from Penn State. He noticed that Sam doesn't have a swinter strength. So what we did in Cottbus and Doha, Sam did kip to Alsit instead of kip directly to molt, because kip to Alsit counts as your swinter strength. And then we kind of just forgot about it. We came back, we forgot about it, and when we did our little mock comp, some judges came in, took a look, and unfortunately they didn't notice either. So, oh, here's the highlight of the Commonwealth Games trial: Wilfu Allen on vault. He was okay. Will's been, well, I don't know if struggling is the right word, but yeah. Look at that airtime. Boom, airtime. Woohoo! Yeah, it happens. Sometimes things go weird and you lose the feel for stuff, but it always comes back. We'll chug away at it one day at a time. Tried once, tried twice, failed twice. Kept going. Yeah, pretty gutted because the rest of the routine was okay, and I don't think I've missed Peach 1 nor a Healy for that matter, like in the last week, 2 weeks. I think I did like 4 in a row or something the Sunday before this. Yeah, so 14-1, they were pretty light on me, to be honest. So here's where I figured out that in the end of the giant D-arm, instead of dishing, I need to open up, almost like start to arch again. Not arch, but open up into straight body. There's one that I hit that was really nice. Decided to repeat a peach one, but at this point I was pretty tired, and that's why that happened. Was it this one? Yes, that's the one it was. Rewind in slow motion. Yeah, so pushing down on the bar, and rather than dishing at the end, just opening back up to a straight line. Did the trick. Those bars broke, by the way. Our handle doesn't catch, so we have to just use those red ones to the right. Here comes the cool stuff. Honestly, I should just do that instead of pegging for 0.1 less. But here's the same clip from the drone. So if you want to pitch in for a drone, if you'd like to see more of these kinds of sweet angles, buy me a coffee at the link below. I think it's like a $5 donation or something. And by the way, thank you to everybody who has donated, especially Chris Dunn, yes you, biggest donator. So what I'm gonna do is, what I wanted to use that buy me a coffee fund. Not that I get very much, but I wanted to use it to kind of have a fund for competitions, because I do. Oh, that was pretty nice. That was pretty nice for me. I wanted to use that as a fund for like World Cups and stuff, because myself and the boys, we are paying quite a large sum when we travel. The way Sport New Zealand is structured, you have to be well in the top 16 or consistently in the top 16 in the world, so world champs or Olympic Games, to receive a meaningful, a substantial amount of funding where you're kind of set for the year. And neither of us have ever shown a top 16 at a world championship, so yeah, we're still trying. Here's the same thing from the drone. So yeah, so I was thinking I'd use that buy me a coffee, whatever I get there, to go towards comps, but change of plans. I'm gonna use it to get a drone, because I honestly, I was in love. This is so cool. You press a button and it just spins around. Right now Cameron's manually going left to right, but he I learned that you just put a circle around yourself and then set the distance and just click of a button and it'll circle all the way around you, and there's lots of different functions and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm like 90% set on getting a drone sometime soon. So pitch in. There's Cameron in his judge's uniform. Cameron, you're messing with my angles. Come on, you're messing with the shot, Cam. Cameron doesn't watch these videos. But those two boys to the right, Tiger and Utah, those are Cameron's gymnasts, and damn, their planches are stronger than mine. I'm jealous. He did a lot of planche work with his guys in the lockdown. Oh, there we go. There's my planche. To be honest, I'm happy with that. That was after a pretty big day. That was after a competition. And I think it was a little bit too high, but not bad. So I worked the Saturday of camp. I did some coaching. I took the day off training. I'm an old man, I'm 30. The rest of the guys are, 20? They still got their vigor. They still got their youth. They can train. But so I coached on Saturday, and then I was back in on Sunday and Monday. Now I'm not going to include the Monday session here. I'm just going to do it in the next training week. Yeah, but that was hard. Coming back from that camp was hard. I didn't really get going till today, which is Saturday. I wanted to do a run through yesterday, but yeah, it just wasn't gonna happen. So, and I've forgotten about the questions. I have a couple questions there. Next time I'll get to the questions. I always forget. I've been meaning to do the questions. There's not many. There's like a couple, 2 or 3 questions, but I've been meaning to get to the questions. So if you ask the question, my apologies. I do screenshot them so I know that they're there. I know I have them on my phone. Rip off. We'll get to the questions next video. Okay. I've been talking for 26 minutes. I got lost. Peace out. Till next time. Pitch in for that drone. I'm going to put the link down below. Thank you.